This is a really exciting time for textiles in India because designers continue to use really ancient crafts that are readily available in all of the villages. So it could be embroidery, it could be block printing, it could be weaving. But what they're doing now is looking at it within a much more global context. So the design really has a kind of global feel about it, but the techniques that are used are very ancient, sometimes going back over 2,000 years. Outside of agriculture, once you leave the major cities in India, the textiles are the largest employer for people in villages. So that can be, they can be quite successful, they can be well known throughout the country, but a lot of them do live on or below the poverty line. Bailu, they work in the villages of West Bengal with weaving, and they've also come up with their own very special technique of weaving sequins into saris, for which they won a UNESCO award. And in doing that, they also have created a very small income stream for village women because they put together the strands of the sequins. So just a tiny little bit, but a big change for those village women. The sari, the black sari with the silver cows by Sanjay Garg at Raw Mango. Sanjay works in Benares, which is a very famous hand weaving centre for rich, heavy brocades. The cow that he's used has been lifted from what's called a pitchwai. Pitchwai is a religious painting that's about the life of Lord Krishna. But he's made it into something that's really contemporary just by the way that he's placed it in repeat, and he's using these incredibly rich silver with a little bit of hot pink and then edged it with turquoise. It's a very young interpretation. Then again, Play Clan, they actually don't use hand weaving on their saris, they use digital prints, which is obviously a 21st century interpretation. But as with all of their work, it relates very strongly back to the village. So they do the great computer graphics that they've taken from village life and they've turned it into this really funky, almost cartoon-like imagery that's placed onto a sari, bright colours. So you have to be a very confident out there person to be able to wear it. This exhibition is not all about saris, lush as those saris are. One of my favourites in the exhibition is the dog. The dog is actually primarily by a man called Jagannath Panda, who's primarily a sculptor. But he uses fabric all the time in his painting and his sculpture. Contrary to everything else in this exhibition, it is clearly not handmade. It's very much mass-produced fabric. And part of the reason for that is he's looking at that kind of dichotomy within Indian villages, that the sad thing is that a lot of people who live in Indian villages can't afford the beautiful works that we're seeing here that they actually produce. And they have to buy a lot of imported stuff, often from China or mass mills from India. But what he's done with this, really, like, let's be honest, slightly tacky fabric, is that he's created the coat of the dog. If you've ever been to an Indian village, you will know that dog. The dog says to me a lot about Indian village life as well. Yeah, when people come to the exhibition, I think the first thing that they're going to be surprised about, I mean, they'll be bowled over by the colour and the range, but I think when they realise nearly everything in this exhibition has been handmade. It's hand woven, it's hand embroidered, it's hand block printed, you know, or sometimes combinations of that. There are a few pieces that have not been handmade, but the interesting thing there is that even they, in their iconography, their pictures, relate back to traditional Indian life. So there's a strong sense of the contemporary in the output, but still a very strong sense of the Indian village that comes through.